Okay, The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. He is the founder of Bridgewater Associates. This is basically hedge fund companies. So he's an investor uh, in the US. And the size of this company is quite big, 18 billion US dollars. So he's quite an influential figure in the world of investment and hedge funds. And this book is his research results. And then this it is about how different empires, such as China, Netherlands, and England, in the past have evolved over time from its birth to the demise of to a successor. So basically this is a study of empires in the past, and the aim of this book, what the research done, is to protect the wealth of his companies and his followers. Basically, Ray Dalio opens his portfolio of investment in stock markets and products and the U.S. Treasuries. How much percentage is divided into different asset classes? That's called a portfolio. He basically opens up his portfolios so that his followers can be prepared for the invasion of fake money. Okay, so that's what the his book is about. So the aim is to protect uh, the wealth of people. So he think he can do this by researching on the nature of empires and understanding the nature of empires and wars. So basically, at the end of the empire, there are wars, and through these wars, it could be economic wars, trade wars, or actual wars using guns and ships. And there are 8 stages an empire goes through. If there is an empire, let's say China or US, there is about a period of 100 or 150 years, and then it goes through 8 stages. And then during these stages, what is the role of reserve currency and what is the role of finance that he wanted to investigate. So he talks about big cycles, basically start of an empire, end of empire, and then small cycles, booms and busts, created by central banks and so on. And then he talks about U.S.-China relations and possible wars. Probably he means by trade wars and monetary wars, financial invasions, invasion through down to the financial market of the China and so on, and so on. So here I'm going to just to show you two figures from his introduction. So the graph here shows the timeline from 1500 to 2000, probably about 10, and different nations. And here are actually, here is the relative measure of strength of an empire. So we'll talk about the measure a little later, but for example, from 1500 to 1600, China, so in this era, China was the strongest nation in the world. China was the empire. So China was the hegemonic country in the world. And from 15, um, let's see, this uh, peach, the orange color switching with the top position with the China around 1625. So I need to upgrade this 1625. Because so the Netherlands becomes dominant countries and so on. And around 1750 uh, to 1900, the United Kingdom, England, became the dominant country in the world. And then starting from 1900 to present, uh, the United States is the dominant country. So that's what I have right here. And as you can see from the picture of China, China is growing very fast and is challenging the de facto empire of the United States in the modern era. So maybe there is going to be a golden cross, and then China become the world leading nation in the world pretty soon. But this is going to be determined by some type of wars. So the after the world, the the order is set by the new leading nation, and then such a rule will preside over 100 or 150 years. That's the expectation. So, what are the measures of wealth and power? He talked about eight measures. One is education power. The other one is competitiveness, technology, and economic output, share of world trade, and military strength. The strongest strength today is U.S. military, right? United States run 14, enterprise class, uh, you know, ships, large ships, for where planes can land and take off. Uh, uh, is roaming around the seas of the world, and they can close the road. They open up a road based on how friendly the ship, whose nation behind the ships they are going through their seas, and this will affect the trade cost, and will affect heavily to the country of sanctioned state. The economy of the sanctioned state. For example, North Korea, their sea is watched out by the U.S. Navy ships all the time, and their airspace is monitored by, controlled by the U.S. planes. And so the military strength is very important. And then financial strength as a center of the financial, financial center strength is the seventh measure of wealth and power. And reserve currency in the case of U.S. dollar, for example, how strong the status of a reserve currency is going to determine the the hegemonic country, okay, or an empire. And the following chart below this one shows the average strength of each of these measures, and with the weight on the most recent three reserve countries. So the most recent reserve country, the current is U.S., immediate past is United Kingdom, the previous to UK is the Netherlands, okay, Dutch. So this average measure says, um, here is the empire's peak. Empire's peak is right at the center, and years, 120 years past, and 120 years next from the peak. Okay, so it says uh, in the beginning phase, the first phase is rise of education power. So, for example, today American colleges and universities, they are the source of creation of new knowledge. And then this creation of new knowledge was very strong in the first phase, and then it starts to give its top position to uh, this competitiveness and financial, military is this one. Red is innovation and technologies. So basically, education comes first, and the innovation and new technology comes next, and their products and services become very, very competitive. Their military power becomes very strong. Their trade will be very strong because they have a more competitive products and services based on innovation. So they will dominate the world for a certain period of time, and then their role as a financial center becomes very important after the peak, and then it's going to start, to demise like this, and at the largest, what comes at the last stage is the reserve currency status. So they will print lots of money, supply to the people, and then they will give their, the power as a world economy to other countries, and then disappears. I mean, give up their status as a leading nation. So this is something that we can pay attention to. And then the author believes that the United States is at the last stage. Okay, so their military power is still very great, but China is challenging to this military power, and innovation and technology is slowing down. There is no initial public offerings anymore in the United States, and so on and so on. And then the duration of this money printing and demand side economies will run about 40 years. So you have to endure quite a number of years. So what is the current status? Probably we are in somewhere right here, where the military power is still great, number one in the world, and then the financial center role is as great as today, and so on. But the education power is starting to getting smaller and smaller. So the chart above shows that the power in education comes first, and followed by innovation and technology and other measures. The ones comes last is the status of reserve currency. Okay, so um, so basically that's it, and you can read through what comes next. All right, so that's that, and then we can think about where does U.S. stand in 2021, and then what do you think you should be doing in this phase of economy run by leading nation, and what should you be preparing for your life, for the span of your life, which will be about 100 or 120 years. So you have to make decisions. Okay. All right. So I'll stop here to make a smaller video. So so that I can easy to transport these videos to you. So I'll stop right here.